Hello, I'm Kirsty.
And I'm Dieter.
And welcome to Some Loosemore, a YouTube channel about the hobby of board games.
Welcome to March.
Woo!
So each month we look back at the kind of games that we've played, what we're looking forward to, all the things that we've done just to keep you updated with what we're doing and share some of our journey. We're still relatively new into this world of board games. Now this has been a rather busy month for us for playing games. We went on a weekend away with some friends and played quite a few games. I've been going more regularly to the game group locally on a Monday, so I've played lots of things that I've been very excited to play. Robinson Crusoe was one I've wanted to play for a while and finally got to do that. What else have we played? Taught them Pandemic Fall of Rome, Wingspan, and a few other things, Sagrada. So we've played a few things there, but on the weekend away we got to play a few games, some of them are, some of other people's. I got to teach Scythe, which is still my favourite game. I got to teach Keyforge, which is in my top 3 favourite games. We like Keyforge. Got to teach a few things, also get taught some things.
Yeah, so we played a Dominion, which we played before. It's a deck building game, and the first time I played it, I loved it. And this has got to be months ago, if not over a year ago now. I really liked it. But actually, over the past year, having played lots more, a wider variety of games, when I played it this month, it was still good, but it wasn't anything special.
And that's the kind of comment generally from us, I suppose, and I've heard from other people. Dominion is credited as one of the first, if not the first, deck builder, and so mechanically what it introduced is great. And we've only actually played within the base box. There's lots of different cards, and we've only played with the intro setup. So it might be that adding some of those other ones becomes more interesting.
And we'd play again because it is a good game. Yeah. But I think just having had a bit more experience with other games, it doesn't offer anything that other games don't necessarily.
But it did at the time, but
it was the first. So yeah,
but that was good.
That was Dominion. I think I won. I may not.
I think you did. Well done.
Thanks.
Well done. I came dead last, as I tend to.
When you're teaching games.
No, I wasn't teaching it. It wasn't our game.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun. Sad. So now a game that I win at sometimes. New to us relatively. I initially played it at the game group that I go to, and it's been one of the ones on the list that I really wanted to play. Finally got to play it. Played it twice that night and immediately came home.
Bought it.
I just about asked permission before I bought it, but it would have been a hard thing to say no to because I basically already bought it. Basically, but that's Race for the Galaxy. Race for the Galaxy. Now this is great game. It's kind of very simple and super complex all at the same time. There's a lot of iconography and a steep learning curve in terms of what it's asking you to do, but the actual how it works is really simple. So cards are everything. It's a simple-ish card game where you're trying to build a tableau of 12 cards, and you pay for cards with other cards out of your hand. And so there's a cost on them, and you're then trying to think, actually, which of these cards in my hand do I want? And so there's that kind of balance, but then there's like an economic side to it where you can get planets that you've built, again just cards, to produce, and they create more cards, or you can sell the things you produce to get you more cards into your hand. So there's kind of a lot to it, but in terms of how it works, it's super simple. There are 7 actions that could happen, and at the beginning of each round, each turn, you choose one of the actions that you want to do and you put it face down. Everybody does the same. You flip it, and now everybody does all of the actions that are face up. And so there's a basic version of every action which everybody gets, but if you played that numbered action, so I played Explore, the first one, There's a couple of explore cards. Everyone gets to look at 2 cards from the deck, keep one and discard the other. But because I played explore and I chose explore +1/+1, I get to look at 3 and keep 2 of them. Or settle, it's now I get a card at the end. Like, it's just really fast, really simple. I probably enjoyed it more 4-player, where I learned it initially. I've taught Kirsty, I've taught a friend of ours as well. And there's a couple of different rule sets that you can use for 2-player, either where you play 1 action each or 2 actions each. You actually preferred the 1 action each, didn't you?
Yes.
Because it's less planning and kind of programming for what you want to do, whereas I can see the kind of necessary depth, because if you're both only playing 1 and you keep playing the same one, that provides less kind of cool combos and playing things out, whereas if every 4 people or 2 people playing 2 each, they're all different, so then you've got 4 actions you can take instead of 1, so I get that. Similar to Dominion, it's not a pretty game.
No, it's not.
The card art is serviceable, it's fine.
We enjoy a pretty game.
We do enjoy a pretty game, and it's space, but you wouldn't know it beyond the names of the things. It's planets and technologies, and it's all about aliens and stuff, so it's there, but it's all just the look of the thing. It's got nothing to do with how it plays, but just so fast and smooth, just going, I'm playing that one, you're playing that one, cool, let's just do all of those. Next. It just keeps going, it's really fast. It has now shot itself into my top 10.
Wow.
If you watch my last one, it's there as like an honorary mention because it was too new. I hadn't played it enough to decide for sure, but I have now, I think, and it's there.
Wow.
So that's Tom Lehman's Race for the Galaxy.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Bear Park. Which is about running your own bear park, as you may guess by the name and the picture. We got this yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
We got this yesterday and played it for the first time last night. It is essentially Tetris. It's taking pieces, finding places for them, and what you're wanting to get the pieces with the most points on it. Once you've built your bear park, at the end of the game, you add up how many points you have in your bear park. And it's that simple, and it really is very simple.
It really is that simple.
It's the sort of game that I would introduce to lots of new gamers, not lots of new players, family, friends, younger players. And the theme's really lovely. It's a bit different, but it's just nice. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Plus I won, as we know.
Again,
that means that I prefer a game when I win it.
it's true.
So yeah, what did you think?
Yeah, I liked it. I was expecting a little more out of it because it's a slightly bigger box. There's quite a few of these Tetris-style pieces building things, and because there's 3 different types of pieces, not even the shapes, I mean just category, like there's ones that are worth nothing but they fill in all the gaps. There's the basic shapes, which there's a few of each but they get less valuable each time, and then there's the one of each, like crazy shapes that are worth loads of points.
And then there's bear statues that you can erect in your park, and they're worth loads of points.
To begin with, but the more that are taken, the less valuable they become, and that's for completing a tile, a whole square, and you need to complete 4 to finish the game. So we finished in the same turn, but Kirsty had just finished each one before me, and so I enjoyed it, but I could see quite early on that I'd taken the wrong approach and there wasn't much I could do about it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how to connect the 4 squares together, whereas you filled one, added, filled one, added, filled one, added, so you got those statues quite quickly. So good, clever. Yeah, I like it. I think more plays and potentially more players would affect that, because you actually then, there's more of a race for the pieces that you want, whereas in 2, there's 3 of each of these of the basic shapes.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, so you took the top one, okay, I'll take the second one.
Yeah.
And then I'll take the top of the other one, you take the second of that one, and then we'll just maybe fight over the low value one. There wasn't as much interaction, but it's probably one of those games that's really simple, but I think the more we play, the more cunning we'll get at it, rather than just it will be the same each time.
I hope it's going to be more tactical. So yeah, that's Bear Park.
But you're right, lovely for new people.
Yeah.
I look forward to teaching parents and
Siblings.
similar, that kind of game. Yeah. And it has koalas.
Which really annoys Dieter because they're not bears.
But on the manual it does say, we know they're not bears.
Does it?
We just thought it would be fun. So fair enough, Phil Walker Harding.
Okay.
You know that koalas aren't bears. If you didn't know koalas aren't bears,
No,
you've learned something.
For the first time in these videos.
Lots of other games that we've played that I've been introduced to. We could talk about Load, Saboteur, Sagrada, all those kinds of things that I've played, but nothing particularly new other than the ones we've just mentioned. But I have been doing a bit of selling.
Which means he gets to do a bit of buying.
Yes, that's where Money for Games comes from, by selling old games. So I sold Wingspan. It was good. We enjoyed it. The production is amazing. It just didn't really have a place in our collection, which is sad. Because again, it was good for newish people, not brand new, but newish. But I taught it again this month, and it was again, I wasn't excited by it. So I sold that.
Do you know what? I think it is, if you're a bird watcher or you're really into birds, I think it's a lovely game to own because it's so thematic and it's got so much information about birds, and I think it's really interesting. Like, it goes into the theme more than most games will that you find, and so I think check it out anyway because it's not a bad game, but especially if you're into birds and that kind of thing, it's quite a nice game to own. Yeah,
it's at least worth knowing somebody that owns it, if not go out and get it yourself, because it's lovely. It really is. And a bird feeder dice tower. Amazing.
Yeah.
So I sold that, and then I sold one of my more advanced, isn't the word, a Yu-Gi-Oh deck that I'd built over a couple of years, spending a good amount on cards. Too much money on cards. So sold that, and so had money to play with, because it doesn't come out of our budget, it comes out of games money. That's okay, you're allowed to sneeze. And so Bear Park came out of that, Race for the Galaxy came out of that, but this week we've got more coming.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
We've got Patchwork coming, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah,
again,
you've wanted that for a while.
It's similar to Bear Park actually, and I heard of it before I heard of Bear Park, and it's a kind of Tetris-y placement game.
But a two-player
I don't
only.
know much more than that.
No, two-player only,
But
lighter even, quicker even than Bear Park. So it'd be interesting to see how we compare one to the other.
Yes, because we were expecting Bear Park to be a bit heavier actually than it was. And so now we know that that's a lighter game. We're wondering how Patchwork fits in with that. Are we going to have two similarly levelled, similarly styled games?
Although Bear Park does come with like an advanced edition module thing.
Which we're yet to play.
Yes, for achievements and things, which we like. We like mid-term goals in games, they're fun for us.
Objectives.
And an expansion's coming out, I found out.
Of Bear Park?
Of Bear Park, which adds a few things like a monorail, so you build little things, little columns in your park and then have to balance a little monorail track. And a fifth type of bear and things. So there's an expansion coming out soon.
Teddy bear?
No, grizzly, I think.
Okay. No, teddy bear.
Not a teddy bear. Teddy bear would be not funny. Vast. That's what I'm going to talk about. That's the big game. I was umming and ahhing about what the big game should be. There's a few that I'm interested in. Journeys in Middle-earth is coming out soon. That looks really interesting from Fantasy Flight.
The Silver River?
The Silver River is a Kickstarter that's just finished, sadly, so sorry.
But if you've got that, well done.
Yeah, I was really interested by that. A lightish 4X game, which we don't really know 4X games, and it was one that might have tempted me. Or War of the Ring, which is not a light game, heavy, 2-player only, 3-hour, the whole of the Lord of the Rings in a box kind of game, would have interested me. How many D's?
That's fine.
But not Kirsty, which is fair enough, and there's no point in having games if we're not going to play them.
True that.
So we didn't get that. So I've gone for Vast. Now Vast in some ways is the predecessor to the very popular Root. They're from the same company, different designers, but same company, Leader Games, and it's an asymmetric game, which means the way each person's character, or in some cases group of characters, works is completely different from the other people. Now in Root, that's for like a war game when you're trying to gain the most points of having dominance in this woodland. And so you're all going after the same thing, whereas in Vast, which came before it, not only are all the characters different and how they work different, but your endgame trigger is different as well. I don't know much more than that. One of my brothers has played it, I've watched a few reviews of it, and I'm really interested by it, because it's like a dungeon crawl. You're going into, it's called Vast the Crystal Caverns, so you're going into this cavern, and you could be the knight, or a dragon, or goblins, or a thief, I think. Or, I think weirdly you can be the cave itself.
Really?
Yeah, if you have 5 players, somebody can control the construction of the cave and where the treasures and things go. We'll find out. It looks interesting. They're just releasing a new, or a different second version of it, which is in a mansion, and is similar. There's a giant spider instead of a dragon, there's a wizard, a paladin instead of a knight, a wizard instead of the thief or something. So it's similar. But there's a few expansions for it, so if we like it, there's more content. But I went for that because it has a solo mode as well. I'm interested by the asymmetry. My eldest brother already owns Root, so I have access to that should I want it.
His eldest brother, not his Irish brother.
Did I say Irish?
Sounded like you said
That's weird.
My Irish brother.
We're not Irish, we're just ginger. A common mistake. So yeah, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to playing that. What are you looking forward to? Patchwork. Well, that answers that.
Yeah, Patchwork. I'm playing more Keyforge.
More Keyforge. I got another deck because it made postage cheaper. It's just great. And then
I'd like to play Baron Park with the objectives.
Yeah, and
I'd like to play
more people.
Sulkin, because
we
we've only
keep
played that
Sulkin.
once. We want to play it. It's just time.
But it will probably end up being Keyforge.
It'll probably end up being Keyforge.
Because I love it, and you like it more than you thought you would, didn't you? Don't you?
Like it.
Yeah. It's fascinating
like it.
to me.
And I just keep wanting to play it.
And
That's
the
unusual to me.
new set is coming soon, end of May. That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anything else?
No, we're going away with my parents, and so we have to think of games.
That's cool. If you have any suggestions for
6 people,
6 people, gateway-ish.
because 2 are my parents,
Yeah.
and we know that they're willing to play games, but not into games necessarily.
But could probably handle next step games.
Yeah, and then the other 2 we've
Because
no
we're forced
idea, because they're strangers to us.
So if you have any suggestions, put them down in the comments. That's probably about it for this month. We won't have quite so busy a month in terms of playing games, but we'll have more to talk about because, I think Patchwork and Vast and Hanabi and Baron Park and Race and Keyforge will just give us more to talk about. So thank you for watching. We are largely keeping up with our social media. Instagram is probably taken over from Twitter. I'm not doing so well at Twitter.
Yeah.
But you can find us, follow us. I think it's at Some Loosemore on Twitter. No.
At WSome.
WSome Elmore on Twitter. I think Some Loosemore on Instagram.
I think so as well.
I don't know. I think if you just search Some Loosemore,
you'll find us.
You'll find it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, them's the places.
Yeah, Facebook's a bit quiet at the moment, so maybe check out Instagram. Or just wait for our next video.
Yeah, I'll be doing more Wire Likes. I am on Easter break.
Hooray! Which means you're going to get spammed with videos.
No,
my friends.
I will create loads and just drip them out, but I might spam you with videos. So hit the bell icon so you stay notified of when new videos come out.
Yes.